So what I wanted to do today is lay out a good understanding for all my athletes and all the other CrossFit affiliates and other CrossFit athletes out there, a general understanding of how I program here at CrossFit Hustle. I'm going to go over the foundations of my programming, the microcycles, the macrocycles, and a few things we do a little different here at CrossFit Hustle. I think it's very important because when you get into CrossFit, everybody wants to do the conditioning workouts. They want to do lots of Metcons, lots of Frans, Dianes, and stuff like that. And I think when you throw people in, it may be good at first, but over time, it's really going to beat up their bodies. So I lay off a little bit on the conditioning. We still condition 3, maybe 4 times a week, but not as much as you would see at some of the other CrossFit affiliates, which I don't think is wrong, but I would say it can lead to injuries or overtraining. So I start with my programming with a good solid principle, and that principle is a strength bias. I have a heavy bias towards strength. I'd rather see people lift heavy stuff than run a 15-minute 5K. Or I think in the long run, because we do train for real life, I think it's very good to have people who are strong and can lift things up and put things over their head. It's more applicable to real life. So I have a very heavy bias towards strength. Second, we squat twice a week. Now we may not back squat like in a 3x5 linear progression squat twice a week, but every week twice a week on 2 separate days we have athletes passing their hips below parallel, and that's one of the general principles I go by. We do advanced gymnastics, something a little bit different. It's very difficult to teach the muscle up and headstand, handstand, forward roll, stuff like that for new coaches. But I think once you've found advanced gymnastics and you can start working with L-sits and front levers, back levers, you may not be able to get those athletes into the positions, but you can get them near that position. So take the back lever, for example. A majority of my athletes here can't do a back lever, but with some of them, I have them get up upside down, and just getting comfortable upside down on the rings is good enough to have more progression next time we do back lever. We only do 15 to 20 minute conditioning about once a week. Any more than that, I think you're getting into the overtraining level, and program-wise, it's just very difficult to throw in 15 to 20 minute conditioning workouts if you are also you're squatting and you're pressing and you're on a Wendler 5-3-1 schedule or anything like that. We keep our conditioning workouts to our Metcons, or we keep those to about anywhere between 6 and 8 minutes, or 8 and 12 minutes, somewhere around there. It cuts down on the time, and you can still progress at the 15 to 20 minute level while training the 6 to 12 minute level. We do Olympic lifts twice a week, 1 to 2 times a week. And when we do it, we focus a lot on technique, but sometimes it's just all for load. And then I'll get to suck training a little bit later. Once a week, we run. And it's a lot less than some of the other CrossFit affiliates, but like I said, I have a bias towards strength. And we do run, though, about once a week, and usually on Wednesdays, which I'll get to. And then mobility before every workout. MobilityWOD.com is an excellent resource for all types of horrible positions you can put your body into. So I have it all set up in a macrocycle. So the macrocycle is 3 cycles of Wendler, each microcycle being 4 weeks long, and then 1 cycle of Olympic lifting, which makes for about a quarter of your year spent in 1 macrocycle. And then once we break that down, we have microcycles. We have 2 different types of microcycles, and that's Wendler 5-3-1, as well as Olympic lifting. Now the Olympic lifting, I'll get to in just a second, but the Wendler microcycle is 4 weeks long, which includes a deload week. And we do the normal progression of 5, 3, 1, 5, 5, 5 the first week on the 3 lifts, which are, I schedule them deadlift, press, and squat. And we separate those by 1 day each. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do our 3 Wendler lifts. As well, I alternate the press and the bench, something I picked up from Cincinnati Strength and Conditioning. So you're benching half the amount of time that you are in the cycles. So let me go through a typical week of Wendler. Monday, you're going to deadlift, so that means you're just picking heavy stuff off the ground, and that's usually on a 5. It's based on percentages. So you have your 1 rep max, and let's say it's 100. Then you would deadlift 5 at about 65%, 70%, and then 75, or whatever the numbers are. I don't have them on hand. And after that, we do a conditioning. I make really sure that if we're repping out on that last set of Wendler deads, on the last set of 5s, that third set there, I'm not doing a lot of pulling with the lower back. I may throw in a little bit of hip work with kettlebells or push presses or something like that, but nothing too strenuous on the lower back. On Tuesdays, we press, and we do suck training, which I'll get to in a minute, and advanced gymnastics. And that right there is enough to take care of about 40 minutes of work, and so there's no conditioning on Tuesdays. Now, sometimes we may switch this up so that Tuesdays we press and then, or something of that sort. But in general, this is just a typical week. On Wednesdays, we have 10 to 12 minutes of conditioning, and that's just come in, warm up, do your mobility, and we get some just a good Metcon in. Thursday is a rest or makeup. We're open, but we have athletes come in who can't make it on Wednesday, so we're open, but they just make up the workout on Thursday from Wednesday. Friday we squat, and that's on the same Wendler 5-3-1 schedule. We also Olympic lift, which is usually a power clean or a power snatch. If we do a squat snatch or a squat clean or a snatch balance or anything like that, I make sure that we're not going all out on the last set of the Wendler lifts. And then usually a really short conditioning of about 4 minutes. And then Saturday is just a gasser. And I make sure that on Saturdays you're testing your ability to keep moving instead of your ability to do one more pull-up. What I don't want is people to get so fatigued in the muscles that when Monday comes around, they're still feeling the effects of Saturday. And then Sunday is a rest day, which we all take off and eat a lot and sleep.